Companies need to stop terminating people who put in their 2 weeks notice. And it's not just for the employee's benefit, it's also because it can create a huge liability for the company. Let's talk about it. So first of all, if you haven't followed me before, my name is Matt Reek. I'm an HR leader and I've been in this field for over 25 years. One really foolish practice that companies have put in place in the last couple of years is when somebody comes in and good-naturedly gives them notice, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, whatever it happens to be, and says, hey, I'm letting you know that I'm leaving for another position, or I'm letting you know I'm leaving because I'm going to go, take care of kids at home or fulfill a family obligation, whatever it happens to be. Companies now have gotten into the very frequent practice of saying, okay, thank you for the resignation. They talk to HR quick, they talk to the hiring manager, whoever's above them, and they go, we need to let Bob go because he can steal company secrets now, and that he's left. And it's the most stupid thing I've ever heard of. First of all, to companies, if the person is leaving, they're not leaving in their mind that day. They have been leaving for 6 to 12 months. It takes time, at least 3 to 6 months most of the time, to get a new job, unless it's a direct referral, which is rare. So people have been planning to leave for 3 to 12 months from your company. At any time in that time or before, they could have taken whatever client list or whatever else you're thinking is a security threat to your company. They're not going to be taking it the last 2 weeks. You're there where you're hyper focused on them. It's the most foolish concept I've ever heard of. And if you don't have the protections in place to protect your information as a company anyway, shame on you. So first of all, that reason, which is the primary reason that companies try to sell, which is BS, that, we need to let them go for a security concern, doesn't hold any weight. Okay, next. Then companies will really be doing this. The real reason that they are letting people go when they give 2 weeks notice, guys, is because the company feels hurt. They feel hurt and they figure it's a us versus them situation, that if you're not with us, you're against us. Oh, you've given your 2 weeks notice. You think there's someplace better to work? You think you're too good for us? Fine. Boom, I'm going to do something back to you and I'm going to get rid of you right now. Okay. So first of all, there's no real reason to do it. We talked about that. Second, the reason that they're doing it is a bad reason. And third, on the company side, you have now created a huge liability for your company. Why? Because now you are terminating someone without cause. And when people say, well, I have a letter of resignation, that's cause. It's not cause. Discipline is supposed to be progressive. You're supposed to have a verbal, a written, and then a termination, unless somebody does something egregious like steals from the company or breaks some major fundamental law of the company. So now you have no paperwork documenting that this employee is a bad employee, and you're terminating them on the spot. And that employee can, number one, file for unemployment for that time. That's fine. They could also sue you for wrongful termination. Now, how can they sue you for wrongful termination when they were going to quit anyway? Because the employee is expecting that pay. They're expecting that week, 2 weeks, month, 3 months, whatever notice period they gave you, they're expecting that money to be able to feed their family. And you have now taken that away from them. At best, they're going to file unemployment in a month or 3 months when unemployment finally gets around to their claim and gives them a pittance. Then they'll get a little bit of money, but it's not the money they would have got working 2 weeks or a month or whatever notice period they gave you. So you've now terminated someone. They can sue you for wrongful termination, and I've seen these cases be won before by employers that didn't listen on this fact. So don't create that liability for your company. Now, for the employee, what it does to the employee is it puts them in a very bad position where they feel like they have to do something back to the employer. And can employees do bad things to employers now? They absolutely can. Number one, like I said, they can just file for their unemployment. That's not bad. They pay for that anyway. The next thing they can do is, like I said, they can file a wrongful termination suit that you took that pay away from them. They can also leave bad Google, Glassdoor, any kind of reviews that will hurt your business. And in addition to all of that, you have now created a terrible name for yourself as an employer in the marketplace because you wouldn't allow people to be able to finish out their notice period with which they gave you in good faith. The last thing that you have done as an employer to completely screw yourself in the future is that nobody will give you notice again. Because you don't think word gets out. You don't think they text their coworkers and say, Bob, let me go. Because I gave him my 3 weeks notice to be kind, to be able to transition stuff over to Sally in my department. And instead, Bob let me go on the spot with no pay. Do you think any future employee will ever give you a notice period again? Because if I saw you do that to somebody, I wouldn't. So Let's say for a second, let's give companies the benefit of the doubt. Let's say the company says we do have a real a security concern with this. Then your position at the company is that if you have to let somebody go and they gave you a fair notice period, is if you release them that day, you pay them out their notice period. So if they give you a notice period of a month, you pay them out a month. Then that person doesn't have to work and they still have income, and you guys can leave this thread and say, hey, we have real security concerns. We don't want to take that pay away from you. We want to be fair to you. So we're going to pay you out that 2 weeks, week, month, whatever the notice period is, to be able to transition onto your new job in good faith. Thank you so much for giving us a notice period, and we wish you the best. That is the most stand-up thing a company can do, if they can't just leave you in your seat and let you work your notice period, which they should. So companies, stop doing this, stop creating this liability for yourself, and stop making it so that people won't give you notice anymore, because if you deal with employees in bad faith, they will deal with you in bad faith in return. Let me know if you think I'm right down below.